20 seconds. 15 seconds. 10 seconds. 5 seconds. Here we go. Look up, look up. 4 seconds.
Good morning, everybody.
Woo!
Good morning.
Great morning.
Happy Wednesday, everybody. We are excited. This is the day that the Lord has
Woo!
created. And we are excited. We are rejoicing. We are extreme. We are extremely glad. We are here. We are here. And we are grateful to be here another week, another day. You know what? This is Back to Basics, Eyes of Faith. You saw the intro. You heard it. Back to Basic, Eyes of Faith broadcast with Pastor James E. Sturdivant. I know you're trying to figure out, where is he? Well, he's on the screen behind us, and his picture is right here. But he is doing what the Lord has called and purpose for him to do, and he is currently in the storm in New York. He's in New York, and when I tell you he's doing a revival there, and the weather there is different than it is here.
Cold,
yeah, that cold is not. It's cold here.
It's pretty cold there.
But that cold there is not even cold. That cold is disrespectful there. It will hit you in the face and leave marks on you and not even apologize. Not even apologize. I had a chance to kind of see what he was doing, and he's been a blessing to the New Birth Ministry in Albany, New York. So we thank God for his ministry. But social media, please don't get discouraged. Just because you may not see Pastor Sturdivant physically doesn't mean that, he didn't leave the broadcast in good hands. He left the broadcast and where he would say with his cohorts or co-hosts. And we are here. We're here with him every week to support him. And he must have a lot of faith in us to have us to do this, because I always say, well, why don't we just do a video or just do a pre-recording? And he's like, no, it's not the same. I'm like, okay. Fair enough. No problem. So we are here. Steph and I here. I'm going to go ahead and introduce, because he will say on the left of me, what did you do with your, what did you do with your
I
prop?
look like dots today, so I just figured I didn't.
What you do? Okay, so people may not know. Okay, let me break this down to you on WBGR, Facebook, YouTube, just in case. So on the left of me, in which Pastor would say, she is Steph the Best, .net, .org, .com, .edu, because she's going to educate you and you don't know which way she's going to come from. She's LLC.
LLC.
She's her own, property. But then she's the box of dots. And the reason why she's the box of dots is because she comes in all types of flavors and all colors. And you just really don't know. I don't know. And I've been around her for years. I don't know what I'm going to get when I'm around her. So here she is. Go ahead and greet the people, Steph.
Hey, good morning, WBGR. What's up, YouTube, Facebook? Hey. I'm excited. It's Wednesday. It's the first dose. And let's do it. Let's be here. Let's do what Pastor has instilled us to do. Let's have something to say. I know you guys are ready. And it's going to be real basic. It's going to be real chill today, nothing too deep. So make sure you share this. It's going to be a conversation. I feel like we want you guys to join in. We want you guys to participate. So make sure you have somebody watching with you. Share it. Retag it. I don't really know how YouTube works, but repost it. WBGR. Make sure you have somebody watching, because it's always needed. And like Janine said, just because Pastor is not here, he definitely he has helped me grow in so many ways, in so many areas where I definitely do have something to share, and I can educate you today.
She's going to educate you. Let me shout out some of the people, because I see you all on Facebook. I see Apostle LaRuth Henry. I see you. Good morning. I do see Allen.
Miss Christina
Yes,
Allen.
Miss Christina
Hey.
Allen. Good morning.
Good
Is that
morning.
Tracy Jefferson?
Mhm.
Good morning,
Good
love.
morning.
Good to see you. YouTube, now you all have to send or say a comment in order for me to know who's on, because the way YouTube works, I don't know if you're on there. I can just see that there's people on there, but I don't know exactly who's on there unless you leave a comment. So if you leave some comments, then I can shout you all out. But I see you all on Facebook, and we are here. We are definitely here. You know, you said Pastor instill some things, and we just gonna take over. Now, normally, he doesn't allow us to do certain things while he's here.
Right.
He doesn't allow certain things to happen because, you know, it's a show. So, you know, we respect, you know, certain things, and we don't try to cross certain boundaries when it comes to things that he dislikes. But today, since he's not here, Miss Lisa Chu, I see you. I feel like making a joyful noise.
Go ahead and make a joyful
I
noise.
feel like praising him.
Okay.
Oh,
Sing that.
I feel like praising him. Hey, I don't care if y'all don't give it with me. I'm going to keep on singing. Praise him in the morning. Praise him all day long. I feel like praising.
Switch the beat up a little bit.
This is a millennial version. I feel.
I like it.
Yeah, you know, that
Gotta
was
switch it up a
Baptist,
little bit.
and then I had to switch it up to the millennial. No, but like,
That was good.
he gonna watch this later and be like, daughter.
Miss Jefferson said,
I'm
"Get
gonna
the
be
mic."
like, daddy. Who said what? Get the mic.
Yeah, we didn't get the mic.
I didn't get the mic.
It's okay.
You know what?
And to the right of me. I feel like he would have done that right there.
It's so disrespectful. He'll just cut it off in the middle of, you know, our joyful noise. I'm here. You know, he always say one word, one name, one mic. You know, but I had 3 names. But Janice Nicole Sturdivant. I didn't change my name up, but I did go to LA. And when I came back to from LA, I was like, Dad, you know what? I'm reinventing, and I'm going to do some things. I'm going to get a business. And so now, you know, my business name is Josio. Hey! We are here, and I'm excited. I see you, Gwen Thompson. I see you. Thank you so much for the love. I see you. We are here. And when I tell you, we just had to take a couple of minutes just to greet you all because, you know, it's a lot happening in this world today. You know, we're excited for those that you know were furloughed and now they're back at work. So we thank God for that, you know. And it's always something we get discouraged just in the middle of the test, and we don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. And a lot of people were discouraged, thinking that we wasn't going to work again. And when am I going to get my next paycheck? But things did turn around, and we're grateful for that. We're grateful because we did experience some ice last night, and we had a little bit of snow. It's not compared to the snow that, you know, I'm sure if you're following Pastor on Facebook, you saw him go live yesterday with the snow that's in New York. But, you know, it is some things that's happening here. So we're glad that we have people that are safe and, you know, no incidents or accidents took place. So we are grateful for that. So we are here. And just a couple of things, you know, I had shared last week, and I'm going to share this again this week, only because I am excited. I was granted the opportunity with WBGR family, YouTube, Facebook, WBGR. I was granted the opportunity to be the first director of ministry programming.
First director of
you
ministry.
know, so I'm excited about that
Woo!
because it's an awesome thing with the Gospel Network of WBGR. If you all haven't had the chance, social media family, if you haven't had the chance to go to WBGR's website, I advise you to, because there's some amazing things that's being taken place, some amazing people who have connected with WBGR, and as a result of that, we're branching off and doing some things for 2019. I can't even tell you all what's happening, but I will say that we won't be in the same location that we're in, and I'm gonna just leave it at that. But there's some things that's happening, and you know, with me being the director of ministry programming, I'm trying to get as many people who want to connect with the WBGR family, because where we are right now, as far as radio, where we are right now in this studio, we're not going to be here much longer. And I am trying to encourage everyone, please connect with WBGR because it's some amazing things. Eyes of Faith broadcast has been connected with WBGR for about 1.5 years now. Coming June, it's going to be 2 years. And it's when I tell you, as a result of that connection alone, so many doors has opened, some great things has transpired, and I wish we could tell it, but we can't because the owner has to put it out there first. And then once he puts it out there, then we can go ahead and do it. But we don't want to put it out there and he's like, oh, wait. So we're going to be respectful from that. But I'm just encouraging you. I put it out there on my social media. And if you are interested in connecting with WBGR, please send me a direct message or contact me, Janice Sturdivant, because I can give you that information. And I'm going to look out for you. I'm going to look out for you. I'm going to make sure you're taken care of. And we're going to do some things. We're going to be, leveling up and doing some things. And we're going up. So I will try to come up with us. So I had to put that plug in because Mr. Green, Lionel Green, who is the proprietor, he's the owner of WBGR. He has started this from the ground up. And it is blowing up to no degree. I see people say, I'm going to do some things. They be about a lot of talk, but they don't really have a lot of, action behind it. But we've seen the transitions and the changes, and that's a businessman for real. So I had to put that plug in. And then, even with what Pastor's doing, man, he did an audio book, from one of his books, No Longer Crippled, as a result of being with WBGR. He now has an audio version of this book. I see you, Eartha Baynard. Good morning.
Hey,
I see you. And, that's just one thing of the many things that's just been happening. I'm telling you, if you have a business, if you have a ministry, if you have something that you're doing, that's in the Christian gospel arena, and you're trying to get your voice heard, or you know somebody who is doing it, please have them connect with me, Janice Sturdivant, and we can get that going, get that ball rolling. I see some people kind of logged off of Facebook, I guess because they thought they was going to see Pastor, and that didn't take place. So, what?
We still got something to say.
We still got something to say. We about to say it. I do want to say, because once we get into it, we're going to get into it. Pastor Sturdivant, he's not only just a preacher. He's not only just a mentor. He's not only just a father, a husband, an exhorter. He's also one who has written 6 books. He's doing a thing right now. Actually, this is the last week because February is about to go ready to happen on Friday. So he's doing a thing where if you buy all 6 books.
Well, if you buy all 4 or 4 different books. There you go. 4 different ones.
So it's a total of 6. He's only going to charge you for 4 books.
Right.
You would get all 6 of them, but you're only going to be charged for 4. So that's something that he's never done. I was shocked when he said it because the books are $15 a piece. You might as well get all 6 of them. Even if you say, I may have them already, why not, sow into somebody's life? You got, people that you're saying that you want to help and encourage. You got Valentine's Day coming up in a couple of weeks. If you say you really love me, I'm going to love you and give you something that's going to help your soul, your spirit. I encourage you, well, this is the last week that he's going to be doing it, where you buy all 6, but he's only going to charge you for 4 of them. You can't beat that. You can't beat that. Please, if you want to support Pastor, if you want to know what Pastor is doing and what he has going on, you can read up on his books. You can purchase his books through his personal website, and that's www.jesturdivantministries.com. Again, www.jesturdivantministries.com. Go on his page, purchase his books, support this man of God. I promise you, even if you say I'm just going to get 1 book, God bless you. That is a blessing, and he's grateful for everything. And even if you say, well, I just don't know. I want them, but I don't know what to do. Sow into somebody's life. I promise it's going to be a blessing. Or if you want Pastor to be a part of your next event, whatever you have going on, whether it's an anniversary, a revival, a workshop, a conference, a prayer breakfast, anything that you have going on, Pastor Sturdivant, he loves his purpose. He loves his calling, and he enjoys doing what God has called him to do and to be. And if you want him to be a part of what you have going on with your ministry or your business, please contact me, Janice Sturdivant. I can get that scheduled for you, and that can be reached at 301-736-2383. 301-736-2383. 301-736-2383. Contact me, Janice, and I can get you that information. I see you, Lisa Chu. Thank you for putting that information out there. All right, so Facebook, I'm going to ask you one more time. Please share this. Please share this right now. Just swipe right and just share it. Just do it. Just swipe right and share. I dare you just to share it right now. And YouTube, you can copy this and you can put this on your social media. WBGR, we appreciate you. So,
let's talk.
Now that we got that out the way, I feel like that was like a whole commercial. See, when we start doing some big things, we don't have to do all that. We don't have to do all that. Y'all ain't ready for what's about to happen. But anyway, so over the past couple of weeks, we've been literally dissecting the topic of family dysfunction. We've been on. I see you, Cynthia Jeffries. Good morning. I see you. And I'm gonna need you all to send us, like Steph said, send us some hearts, send us some love, some comments, because we're gonna make this a conversation. And we're gonna talk about some things, and we want to hear your perspective. I'm gonna ask a couple of questions, and I will want you all to answer them. So please do that. I see you. That Cash App. If you want to sow a seed, thank you, Lisa Chu. If you want to sow a seed to Pastor Sturdivant, and you realize that his ministry has been a blessing to you, and you want to say, Pastor, thank you for all that you are and all that you have done. You can sow a seed. Little becomes much. It's no little amount that he wouldn't be grateful for. You can just sow a seed, and you can do that via Cash App. And his handle is the $, capital D, lowercase r, capital J, capital E, capital S. Again, if you want to sow a seed and say, thank you, Pastor, for all that you have done and all that you're doing, God bless you in your ministry, you can do that by sowing a seed via Cash App. And the handle is the $, capital D, lowercase r, capital J, capital E, capital S. Thank you, Lisa Chu. I appreciate that for putting that on social media. So, family dysfunction. We've been talking about it for the past couple of weeks. If you were to say your perspective based off of what we've been talking about, because we've been doing this since, I know that we had opened it up when we were starting our Family Matters conference that we did in October. And we kind of, started it probably after the summertime, maybe like around September, because we started to see that there was a lot of division that was taking place. And normally when division takes place, it's as a result of dysfunction that's been in the picture somewhere, whether it's from the family, because a lot of times what ends up happening is that dysfunction starts at home, which allows a lot of things. Yeah, it's the foundation, which allows a lot of things as it relates to the relationships that we choose because of the lack of what we're not getting at home. So before we get into it, Steph, what would be your perspective or your definition based on what we've been talking about as it relates to family dysfunction?
I mean, for me, it's pretty simple. It's working but not working properly.
Yeah.
It's functioning, but it's not functioning the way that it is intended to function, the way that it was created to function. And I honestly, evaluating my life and just my environment, it's nothing but dysfunction. All around me, it's stuff that's working, but it's not working properly. And I know it's not working properly because I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Wow.
And it's going to be a ripple effect, so.
Man, you be saying some good stuff. You be talking so fast. I don't think they actually heard what you was saying. Because you was saying some good stuff.
Yeah,
you was saying that dysfunction is when it's not working properly.
Yeah, so it works. It's just not working the way that it is intended to work, the way that it is created to work. And I think the created part makes a difference, because something can work and it can have a purpose and you can feel like it's meeting that purpose. But if that's not the purpose that it was created for, then it is dysfunction, because that's not what it's for.
So I see you, Joseph Gray. I see you, man of God.
Hey.
God bless. That you used to work with him. That was your co-worker. I see you, man. You gotta come back and visit us just sometime
please
soon.
do.
You know what I mean? Like, I know you got in a family and everything, but don't be a stranger. I'm just saying. So when you think about dysfunction, okay, let's dissect this. Pastor was talking on this past Sunday. Ask me how I know, because I wasn't even in church on Sunday. Because thank God I had the opportunity to be able to speak at another ministry, but I was able to tune in, and I saw how he dissect purpose, and he came from Jeremiah 29. I know the thoughts that I have planned for you. See, the thing about God, which is so amazing, is that God already knows what your purpose is before you're even in the picture. Let's just be clear about that. He already knows what you're designed to be, how you're supposed to function before you even get into the picture. So with even knowing that and considering our purpose, we're all created. Pastor says you're not an accident.
You're an assignment.
You're an assignment. We all have a purpose. You don't do an assignment. You are an assignment. Your life, my life, Janice Sturdivant, I am an assignment. The reason why I was created was to be an assignment. Once you kind of know that kind of puts things into perspective. That should kind of push you to make some choices, some better choices. Because if my assignment, for example, is to be one that serves, then there will be certain things that I won't put myself in where I'm always taking, because I'm supposed to be serving, I'm supposed to be giving, I'm supposed to be doing. So I won't be putting myself in certain situations. A lot of times we don't know what our purpose is, so we're just existing, but we're not living to the potential of what we're supposed to be. And I know a lot of people who, have complained as it relates to, their life, as far as, I don't feel like my life, is of anything. I don't feel like I'm making a difference. I don't feel like I'm doing anything. I feel like I'm wasting time. I'm barely, I'm existing. I'm just here. I'm here, but I'm not doing anything. And even when, just going through the season of the government shutdown, because this is not the first time. I was affected this time, the last times, the past couple of times. And when I was affected the first time, it pushed me to be able to figure out what my purpose was. That's when I stopped working for the government and I started focusing on, what am I supposed to be doing? What am I created for? What is my purpose? And it had to take a loss for me to discover the gain and reward. A lot of times we look at losses as a negative thing, but sometimes God have to put you in certain situations in order for you to discover or to see what you're supposed to be, and then also how He is to you. Right. Because I know for me, when I was, and I'll let you speak on it in a second, when I was unemployed, I had to strictly and solely depend on God and God alone. And there was times before I even started initially solely depending on Him, I would ask my friends, I would ask my family, for help and assistance. But then I saw that when I was asking them, how God was, being pushed out of the picture. Because I was actually making my family and friends my savior and not dependent solely on God. And then it got to the point where it was just like, family and friends wasn't helping me. Then it's like, okay, God saying, I got you exactly where I want you to be. Now you're going to know me for who I am as Jehovah Jireh. You have stated it, and you have sung it, and you have prayed it, but I'm really going to prove to you that I am your provider. So He had to allow me to be in a lonely place. He had to allow me to be in a place where it was so uncomfortable. I mean, naturally, you would be fearful. You would have doubts. You would get discouraged. But then it's, okay, God is like, okay, well, outside of all of that, if this is your bottom, you can only go up from here. A lot of times we think that when we hit rock bottom, that it's the end all and that there's, that's it. But God is one who can supply all of your needs according to his riches and glory if we allow him to. Most times we naturally and easily depend on others and look to others, which then that's how dysfunction comes in the picture. Because if I'm asking you, Steph, hey, we don't talk as often, but I'm in a bind and I need something from you, and I call on you, then we're going to start having some dysfunction, because then you're going to start feeling like, oh, you're just using me for something that you want. You really don't want me. You just want something that you can get from me. And a lot of times we do that subliminally. We do that where we end up using people for what we want, but we don't appreciate them for who they are. You want to say something?
Yeah, just listen to you say the whole rock bottom piece. It just kind of made me think like, you know what? Is it rock bottom, or is it that the dysfunction stopped working? And it's
Say that one more time. Say that one more time.
Is it rock bottom, or is it that the dysfunction stopped working? We're no longer able to function with all the mess that we have going on.
Some of us get comfortable with our dysfunction.
Yeah.
We don't even know what it feels like to function outside of being dysfunction, because we've been functioning dysfunctionally for so long.
Right. And then you almost feel broken when you start to work properly, because you're so used to it being the wrong way and it not being used properly. It's just, I'm going through it right now. I'm telling y'all.
Do you need to take your own head off and put your own offering in it?
No, put my own offering. Yeah, but it's like that, and it's necessary for you to know that about yourself, because I mean, you can tell people all day, and it's easier to help people with their dysfunction or to show them where they're being dysfunctional. But like when you have to start dealing with your own dysfunction, it kind of actually sets the standards for those around you, for your environment. Like, you know what? If I'm working on the dysfunction that is started here, then I don't need more dysfunction around me, and it kind of helps.
What you said was so good. And a lot of times, the reason why it's hard for us to see our own selves, because truth be told, we don't really like the truth. We don't like looking at how we really are. We don't like for, people to expose certain things about us. I don't mind receiving truth. I don't mind receiving truth about me. I don't mind it, because eventually it's going to help me to be able to change and to grow. If you feel that you're still moving the same way, I see you, Freddie, I see you. Functioning in your dysfunction still means that you are broken. Yep, so true. Seeing the truth about yourself is the first step to help the dysfunction. When you think about dysfunction, I'm going to kind of rewind this a little bit, because I was reading a little bit. Every now and then I do a little bit of reading. And I was reading some of the foundation of dysfunction. I was reading some of the stories in the Bible where you kind of see, obviously, there's a lot of stories in the Bible as far as dysfunction, because dysfunction consists of more than one person. So dysfunction is all through the Bible. Let's just be clear about that part. But when you kind of look at some of the stories, for example, let's go to the beginning. Let's go to Genesis. You think about the stories. You think about the first family, as we would say, Adam and Eve, and their sons, Cain and Abel. You see that dysfunction. You see how brother killed his twin brother because of him not feeling accepted as a result of the offering that he presented to God. Now, how did Cain and Abel know about dysfunction? They saw dysfunction as a result of what they were raised in, or the characteristics that came from their parents. Every dysfunction comes as a result of what was shown or what was exposed to us before we got in the picture. When you think about it, think about your family. A lot of the stuff that you're dealing with, that I'm dealing with, came as a result of something that was unresolved from the previous generation, from the generation before then, and the generation before then. And It's a learned behavior. Yes, sir. And the generation before then. It's a cycle that continues to take place if nothing stops the cycle. And a lot of times we don't really acknowledge the dysfunction because we think that this is just a part of my family. This is my family's generational curse or choice. You know, this is in my family line. And so we accept it as this is what my family is, but we don't change it. And so then the next generation after that ends up seeing, okay, well, my parents, you know, they drink a lot. My parents, they lie a lot. So this is okay. This is excusable. And we end up raising kids in the same dysfunction that was in the family before. And so generations after generations after generations are being raised and brought up in the same issues and problems that was happening years before. Because before Cain and Abel came in the picture, there was dysfunction between Adam and Eve. Adam had dysfunction with God because he was trying to figure out why you now want to give me a helpmate. And so, you know, dysfunction is a learned behavior. Thank you, sir. It is a learned behavior, and it's also things that happen as a result of us not dealing or changing or doing anything to help it.
Yeah, that's real good. But I feel like as millennials, I'm noticing like this new level of dysfunction is not even, it's light, it's small. And I know we always say it's like the small things and it creates, you know, ongoing and bigger problems. But it could be something, I don't have kids, I have nieces, nephews, godson, but just to see a small thing, like we were out eating and to break up and divide a plate to share amongst 3 people. Dividing it, the way you divide it between those 3 people can cause dysfunction in those 3 little kids. And it's not even on purpose. It's like, okay, well, I gave her 4 fries, him 3 fries, and him 2 fries. That was not my intent. It's just that's the way that it you know, it got broken up. But from their perspectives as little children is, why did she get more and why did I get less? And it's the smallest things. And now I'm having to try to start the change. Like you said, the cycle continues, but it's not always the cycle of let me not drink in front of them, let me not smoke in front of them. It's let me make sure I'm being equal across the board. Let me make sure I'm showing my love and my affection across the board, because it's the small things.
It is. I see you. Who is that? Deneen Robinson?
Yeah.
I see you.
Jacqueline
Good
Williams.
morning. Good morning.
Hey.
Can you all send us something? Let us know that what we're saying is okay. You know, comments, some type of something. Because we're just trying to dissect, and it is a thing where you got to kind of look at why certain things happen, and you don't realize that, you know, whether it's outside of family, in family or outside of family, in your relationships, a lot of times you can function dysfunctionally and not even know.
Right.
If it's more than one person, if you're friends with more than one friend and all of you all are friends, you have to now start considering, you know, okay, you know what? Let me be fair and equal as it relates to the treatment that's being given amongst all. Because when it's all said and done, somebody will be in their feelings as it relates to jealous or, you know, some sort of way. And then it's like you wasn't intentionally trying to, but it's just now when it comes to more than one person, you have to then start considering as it relates to being equal. Because when you're not equal, it does bring about resentment. It does bring about areas of dislike. Well, I don't want to go over her house anymore. Why? Because she don't treat me the same as she treats him. And it starts bringing areas of dysfunction. Not that you was intentionally trying to mistreat, but even as a babe, as innocent as they are, but nowadays, they know more than me. And I just be like, wait, what? But they start to learn the behavior of what we show them how to act, how to respond. Good analogy. I was the one that was in that analogy. But it is a good analogy when you have to train your mind to start to move different. It has to be something that you do repeatedly, because at first I was only doing it for 2 people, hypothetically, but now I got another person in the picture, and now I got another person in the picture, and you know, you could be a teacher, for example, or a mentor, or a pastor, you know, a shepherd. You have to be, with those type of roles, you have to consider everybody. And a lot of times, because I'm just doing me and I'm not focused on anybody else, it's easy for me to not really, to get sidetracked as it relates to not doing for certain people, because I'm the only child. I ain't never have to share. I ain't never have to worry about nobody else. You know, it's always been me. So now what I got to do for everybody else? But that's where dysfunction takes place. And it is a behavior that you got to intentionally plan to change in order for them to be changed, for there to be change. When a pastor's saying is, change is not change until you change. And you can change immediately. You can change as soon as you say, look, I'm ready to change. It's a choice to change. And you have to be okay with it being uncomfortable, because naturally your mind may not be used to moving like this or thinking like this. And, you know, you have to be okay with, you know what? I gotta change. I can't do that no more. I can't think like that no more. I can't talk like that no more. I got other people who are looking at me, who are looking to me. I have to consider that what I say, you know, is being considered. It has an effect. I have to consider that what I'm doing is being watched. Somebody is watching me. And we don't move like that this day and time. A lot of times we just moving like, look, you know what? Like, if it affects them, then whatever. And we don't see that how our actions and our choices have an effect, whether it's on kids or peers. Your actions and your choices, they have an effect on people.
It does. And this change thing is really good. And Dr. Miles Monroe has said something in one of our leadership meetings, that if, you know, you make up in your mind that you don't like something or you don't want something, that's one thing. But you always give yourself leeway and room to go back into that thing. You have to train your body and your mind to hate it. And that's, hate is a strong word. And I feel like I was raised not to hate anything. Right. That's just not what you do. So I choose, and I have always chosen to be like, you know what, it's okay. I'll get over it. I'm not going to hate it. I'll move on. But no, some things you literally are going to have to hate in order to change it, in order to get it out of your life, in order to erase that dysfunction from being there. Because if you don't hate it, it gives you room to go back.
Exactly. And a lot of times, especially women, but everybody, because we are emotion and have emotions, a lot of times we don't want to cut off certain things because it may not make us feel good. Or I invested so much time into this, or into her, or to him, you know what I mean? And I would feel bad, you know, and we allow our emotions to take control of it. But if it's wrong, it's wrong. Period. It doesn't matter how it makes you feel. If it's wrong, and you have control over, I always say this, you have control of what you allow to happen in your life. Period. Either you choose to accept it or you choose to not. If somebody say, hey, Janice, you know, I want you to walk on some fired coals barefooted. That's my choice to either say, yes, I'm going to do it, or no, I'm not. Like, period, no. No, thank you. And it's like, okay, well, I'll give you $1 million if you do this. I would consider, but then I still have the choice of whether I'm going to do that or not. You have a choice of what you allow to happen to you. But we always so instantly and ready to blame my family, or blame, this is how I was raised, so now this is why I'm doing this. Or say, you know, this is all I know, this is my environment, this is what I've always seen. But you still have a choice of what you will allow to come to you and what you will allow to happen to you. I want to pose a question to social media, Facebook, WBGR, to YouTube, and I want to see some comments, because like we said, we're going to make this a conversation. So I want to see some comments. I want to just ask a simple question, and I'm going to read your comments. So please answer. I see you, Ken Walker. I see you. Good morning. Real simple question. how do you handle your dysfunction? If you don't mind answering that, I want to know, how do you handle your dysfunction? What do you do to not allow the things that you are dealing with to affect you? And that's a question that we never really ask ourselves why we do what we do. Like literally just ask us, like, why am I doing this? What am I getting from this? What does this do for me? I mean, outside of the temporary gratification, outside of that, our passion, if that is our, outside of the benefits, whether it's the money, outside of those temporary things, why am I doing this? Why am I still at the job that was only supposed to be a job for the summer? Why am I still here 30 years later? Why am I still entertaining this person? And I know he's not good for me. I know she's not good for me. Why do I continue to hold on to, what do I want for them? I know that they frustrate me every time I talk to them. When I see their number on my phone, I'm just like, oh my God, why are you calling me? I know the emotional drainage that comes from, but why haven't I blocked them? Why haven't I deleted them from my life? Why do I still handle the dysfunctions? I recognize that I have dysfunction, but why am I still entertaining them dysfunction? I know that I can't fulfill my purpose completely with the dysfunction, but I still hold on to it. What does it do for me? Is it a comfort that, because I've been doing this for so long? What Gwen Thompson say?
I try to keep a journal so that I may see what I was thinking and then make changes to that issue.
Exactly. And I love journals. I promote journals even with my mentoring. Journaling is a good thing because sometimes talking about something to somebody doesn't always help. But you need to get it out. So writing it out does help. And then you can go back and read, okay, in this season of my life, this is where I was. I feel like, it's a whole nother year and I feel like this season is about to come up. Let me look back and see how I responded, how I moved in that time frame. And journaling does help. Sometimes, even as the Bible says, you have to write the vision. Sometimes you also have to write the issues.
Oh, yeah.
You have to write them issues in. As much as you're writing the vision and the goals, you have to see what your issues are. So that you can know how you can change them. Otherwise, you're going to be moving the same way, doing the same thing. As I stated on Sunday, just because a calendar has changed doesn't mean nothing. If you're the same way and moving the same way, responding the same way, talking the same way, acting the same way that you was doing December 31st, 2018. And just because January 1st, 2019 comes, what is going to be the difference if you are the same you, moving the same way? So I want to hear some more responses. Thank you, Gwen Thompson. I think that's good. As far as how do you handle your dysfunction? Because I don't want to be one who's a millennial now and then 10 years later still saying the same thing.
Miss Jacqueline Williams, she put insecurity, and I don't know if that's the answer to her question, but for me, that is a great answer because with dysfunctions, how I handle them is by, with insecurities. And I've fallen back into going to things that I know I don't need to do and having habits I don't need to have, being with people I don't need to be with, which is all an insecurity, but it's because of the dysfunction. And it's just almost like you get comfortable, and because, like I said, I don't hate the things that are causing the dysfunctions, it keeps me there.
Yeah. Most times, if you were to be honest with yourself, a lot of dysfunction may have started with, your family. But if you are a full adult, full adult.
An adult.
If you're an adult, like you've surpassed 18 and 21 for a while now. Although dysfunction may have been from the family, if we were to be honest, a lot of dysfunction that we're dealing with now is as a result of the choices that we've made. Most times, it comes from low self-esteem, no self-confidence, no self-worth, low self-value. So we're looking for it in things and people. I see you, Pastor Barbara. In places. and we bring a lot of the issues that we're dealing with, we bring other people into our issues as a result of the unresolved issues that we never dealt within ourselves. When I do mentoring and counseling, a lot of my mentoring and counseling stems from as a result of self. Whether you want to be a model, whether you want to be whoever your dreams and goals are, it all starts with you. You who you are. And when I start to channel those things as it relates to having you look at yourself, it's always so hard. Because we get so busy in doing what we want to do, whether it's working, whether it's goals, we're focusing on jobs, we're focusing on cars, we're focusing on houses and all those things. We're focusing on what needs to be done and all those things and who I got to take care of and all that. And we get so busy doing everything else that we really take the time to look at ourselves. I mean, I'm talking about like literally like look at yourself. One of the exercises that I'll do is have, a mirror and have you look at yourself in the mirror. It's such a hard thing for that because you're literally having to look at you and see how you are without other people telling you how you are. You see, because when you look at you, you don't have somebody else saying you're this and you're that and you're going to be this. No, you're having to tell you what you see and how you feel about yourself. And that's a hard thing. And so even if we go back to what she has said as far as insecurity brings a lot of the dysfunction because I'm looking for a need to be met. I'm looking for a void to be filled. I'm looking for, okay. So if you were to go into the Bible and if you were to read, let's go to, because I know that we've been talking about Samson for a while, but I don't want to talk about Samson today. I want to talk about Joseph. Joseph, we all know the story of Joseph, and Joseph endured a lot of dysfunction with his family because of the dislike and the hatred that the brothers had, his older brothers had as a result of the treatment that their father was giving to Joseph. Now, Joseph didn't ask to be, brought into the world. Joseph didn't ask to have the gift of, being able to tell dreams. I see you, Gwen Thompson. Joseph didn't ask for the calling and the purpose that was given to him, but this is the purpose that God had assigned for Joseph's life. And so when Joseph enters into the picture, mind you, his older brothers has been in the picture for a long time, and they didn't receive a lot of the love that, Joseph got in the picture. It's like, wait, why are you giving him so much, and why are you showing him so much favor and doing so much for him, and he just got here? So, of course, that immediately, like we stated earlier, if it's not equal across the board, it's going to bring about areas of resentment. I saw you, I was trying to read it, but it went so fast on YouTube. And as a result of the unfair treatment, it brought about so much resentment towards the brothers, towards Joseph, a lot of dislike and hatred, so much that they abused Joseph. I'm not going to tell the whole story, but they abused Joseph so much so that he was sold into slavery. He was sold into slavery out of his own will and had to end up starting a life in a whole nother country, whole nother area away from his family. Joseph, outside of the dysfunction that took place with him, he never lost his purpose. He never lost. He was tempted in so many ways. He was tempted by his boss wife. He was tempted in so many ways. And outside of the temptations that he had to deal with, whether he was being lied on, mistreated, he still kept what his purpose and his assignment was. Remember, we told you all earlier that you are an assignment. Joseph was an assignment. And even with everything that he had went through, he still fulfilled his assignment. So much so that Joseph ended up being one where his brothers had to come back to him. When they needed him, when they were lacking in their country, they didn't have any food, they didn't have anything. And Joseph, him being one who was in a position to be able to help, he ended up helping his brothers. Now, I told that story, and you're trying to figure out what did that have to do with anything? Well, one, because you saw obviously the dysfunction that Joseph dealt with. You saw the dysfunction, but then in spite of his dysfunction, he chose not to allow his dysfunction to affect him so much so that he didn't fulfill the purpose that he was created to be and to do. Most times we are so involved and we get so engrossed with the dysfunction that is around us that it prevents us from fulfilling our purpose, our assignment. And even if it's uncomfortable with what you're going through, it shouldn't matter with what you're going through, with what people are saying about you. I mean, they called Joseph all types of names because, I mean, his boss wife was calling him all types of names like, do you not like women because you don't want to sleep with me? And he was getting abused in so many ways, but he knew what his purpose was. When you know your purpose and when you're sure as it relates to your confidence in who you are, you don't allow what is going on around you or what is happening to you to affect you to fulfill what you're called to be. That goes back to self-love, self-confidence, self-worth. When you love who you are and how God created you to be, and self-love, as simple as you would think it is, it's so hard. I've gone through areas where I've questioned, self-love because you're either comparing yourself to other people or you're entertaining what people may have said about you, or, it's so many reasons as to why you don't love you. But once you love you for who you are and how you are, you'll then begin to have standards for yourself where you don't allow certain things to take place as it relates to dysfunction. And I want to challenge you all today because even as it relates to dysfunction, a lot of times we are dealing with issues that we don't have to be dealing. We don't have to be wasting so much time dealing with the same thing that we was dealing 3 months ago. We really don't. And I just don't want it to be a thing, even as we're still so in this beginning part of the year. We're still in the first month. We only have a couple of days left, but we're still in the first part of this year. Let's purpose to not keep making the same choices when we know what is causing, what the results are and how it's going to make us feel. When we know it's causing separation, when we know it's causing dysfunction, when we know it's causing us not to fulfill our purpose, when we know it's causing so much distress emotionally, let's choose to change and do something different.
That's good.
I mean, it's one of those things. I was reading Encouragement in Small Doses, which is one of the books that Pastor has written. And if you don't have it, it's small encouragement. He gives encouragement words and then he gives a scripture. And he has this one thing. He says, try being in love with you before you expect someone else to. This is a small thing. Try being in love with you before you expect someone else to. And I think that's so key because a lot of times we're wanting somebody to give us that love and that attention. We're looking for that. We're seeking that. And I don't know what that feels like, or I like the way that it feels, so I want to continue. And we're looking for that. He says, you attract who you are, not what you want. I think that is so key. You attract who you are, not what you want. I have to always kind of look at the relationships that I have in my life. And it's like, why do I have a relationship with this person? That goes back to what we had stated earlier as far as asking yourself, why do you do what you do? Why did you allow this person to come in, but you didn't allow this person to come in? Why did you choose to entertain this, but you said no to this? Discover the whys in your life. Let me say that. Discover the whys. Why am I still battling this? Why do I still respond like this? Why do, Discover the whys in your life, which will help you eliminate the dysfunctions that you're dealing with.
Or just to even acknowledge the dysfunction. It helps because how else can you work on a thing?
I mean, the first step is acknowledging. That is the first step. They do tell you, whether you're in therapy or AA, the first step is acknowledging. And we give cool points. But I know a lot of people that have been on that first step for a long time. and we say, well, at least I acknowledge, okay, and then what? You've been acknowledging for 2 years now.
Yeah, so are you okay with it?
Yeah, like we
like it like
acknowledge,
that?
and then after we acknowledge, then it's just like, okay, well, I know that I know I'm a drug. I love drugs. I'm a drug addict. I acknowledge that, and you just keep doing it. It is that okay?
You
Well,
gotta want something different though. If you don't want nothing different, you wouldn't do nothing different.
well, that's the whole point. So let's move a little further. If after you acknowledge it, then ask yourself, is this something that I want to continue? I see you. You said, oh, yes, ma'am. Is this something that I want to continue? Now that I have acknowledged I have a problem. I have acknowledged I have an issue. I acknowledge I don't like you. I have acknowledged that, I'm not good around people. I acknowledge that I have an addiction. I acknowledge I play way too many games. Now that you've acknowledged those things, figure out what are you going to do different from it. Don't blame nobody else. What are you going to do? The scripture that he had for this point is, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. That's found in Mark 12:31. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. The order of love is, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your soul, with all your strength. Love your neighbor as yourself. So God first, self second, then your neighbor. And you have to do it in that order. One, because that's the order that God, ordained for it to be. But when you do it in that order, it eliminates so much chaos in your life. One of the things Steph and I we were talking as it relates to the whole dating concept. And some of the questions that you wouldn't ask initially, you almost got to kind of ask right off break, because that's going to eliminate a lot of drama. That's going to eliminate if I'm going to continue to entertain you or not. So, it's certain things, like initially, okay, do you know the Lord? Do you love him? Do you go to church? That eliminates me going out to dates with you. That eliminates, you having to spend money or me having to spend money or waste time, because that should be a standard as it relates to, certain things that you're wanting. A lot of times we have relationships with people, and even if they're not intimate relationships, whether they're friendships or whatever, we have relationships with people that don't even know anything about Christ, and they're being how they are. And we accept the treatment that they give us, and we try to figure out, why am I always going through this? Why is it always this? You almost got to question, well, do they have some of the same standards that you have? And if they don't have some of the same standards that you have, then why are you even entertaining them? That goes back to the discovering your whys. We leave you with that. In order for you to eliminate some of the dysfunction that's in your life, discover why you allow certain things to happen in your life. Once you start to discover why you allow certain things to happen, then you can then be able to kind of control certain things or prevent certain things from happening. Once you discover the why, you won't entertain some of the people. You won't make some of those choices. I hope that what we have shared today just kind of has you think about certain things as it relates to the choices that you're making. I know it helped me, and hopefully it'll be something that kind of challenges you to do something different. In order for change to change, you got to change. I am Janice, and you are
Steph the best.
And we are here representing Back to Basics, Eyes of Faith broadcast with Pastor Sturdivant. We thank you so much for tuning in. Facebook and WBGR, if y'all don't mind just sharing this and letting this be something that, you help your friends and, coworkers and everybody with. And YouTube, please, copy this link. Paste it on your social media and just, get the word out as far as just trying to make a difference out here. So many people are complaining about what's going on in the world, but the change starts with you. Once you start to change, then the things around you will change. And would you imagine, like, once we all start changing, how things will be different? You know what I mean? I can't control what our president or anybody else is doing, but I can control what I'm doing and how I respond. So that's what we want to leave you with. Please share this. Thank you so much, WBGR. Thank you so much, Koi, the comedian. We appreciate you. Thank you all so much. Until next week, you guys be blessed. Facebook family, YouTube family, thank y'all so much for sticking with us. Appreciate the support. Appreciate the love. Please share this. We're trying to read all the comments. I see Thank you so much.
Feel
I hope the
that.
information, does help. And let's just, share the information with everybody, whether it's friends, children, whoever. Let's share it. I see Kim Thick Pin, but we about to go off. But we'll be back on 3 o'clock. So please tune in 3 o'clock. We got a whole new teaching for you all. But in the meantime, go back, listen to this, share this,